I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Oh boy, it's Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis, he's Giulio. G, how are ya?
Good, man. How you doing?
Boy, I'm excited for our guest today. You know her.
Oh, yeah. Know her well.
Yeah.
Remy Kassimir.
Remy Kassimir.
Woo!
How are you, Remy?
I'm great. How are you guys? I'm so happy to be here.
Man, we're thrilled to have you. It's Remy Kassimir. She is the host of How Come, the podcast about orgasms.
Yeah.
And lack thereof.
Yes.
And how to help people find a way to come.
Yes.
All right.
Really cool.
I have so many questions about you. The first question I have relates back to the podcast.
Okay.
Which was, you started this podcast about the fact that you'd never had an orgasm before.
Yeah.
It was, as you said, very personal to you.
Yeah.
Within short order, you had sorted it out.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Would you say that the podcast led you there more quickly?
Yeah. That was the whole thing. I used it as a vehicle to learn how to do so. But also what's interesting is it wasn't an assignment that I had gotten on the podcast that made it happen. Once a bunch of my comic friends found out that I wasn't coming, they were like, oh, you need to come on our podcast. So I went on The Good, the Deadly, Ugly with Will Winner and Patrick Schroeder and Casey Salengo. And Will was like, have you heard of this toy called the Womanizer? And I was like, no. And apparently that's the one that had made it happen for Rachel Sennett. So she begat Will, who begat me. And
here we go.
Struggling with this begat business.
And so that was the thing that made it happen.
Do you know Will?
Sorry. No, but I saw you posting about him.
Oh, yeah.
You did a show with him?
Well, he's a good friend. I love him. I just pictured this conversation. He's like, yo, you should try the Womanizer. Yeah.
Yeah,
it works, dude.
Yeah, it works. Rachel Sennett, she'd never had one. Now she does.
What is the Womanizer and what does it look like and how does it work?
Okay, so the Womanizer is a Womanizer is not the one that I recommend to everybody now because it's super expensive, but there's a bunch of toys and they've all got air pulse technology. So when you picture the thing, they have many different shapes, but it's not really about the shape of the thing. What is important is there's a little circle that sticks out. And that's about the size of a clit. And you put it around the clit and it kind of does not suction, but back and forth. And it simulates a small little blowjob for your clit. Yeah, wow, 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 wow.
Am I getting it right?
Yeah.
Turning anyone on here? Yeah, I think G's got it the best. Like a little mouse trying to find cheese.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is helpful.
Yeah. So yeah, it basically gives your clit a blowjob, which is great because the clit is made up of what? The same embryonic tissue as the penis and gets boners. So yeah.
Huh,
Clit boners?
Stimulated
Clit boners.
clits.
Yeah.
I've seen some big clits in my life.
Have you?
I used to.
You're sucking on those
See,
big
mine
clits,
apparently
dude?
is very small. And that's why I needed these toys.
Interesting.
It's very small, very buried. Yeah.
Heavens.
Yeah.
So,
see, this is the kind of it's weird to talk. I think you're a little weird.
no,
about
I'm weird because I'm
bodies.
thinking of massive clitori.
Okay, fine.
I'm thinking of bobble clitor, WNBA ball clitori.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
Those ones I've heard are easier to get off because you can literally suck on them and
yeah, low hanging fruit.
Well, this is helpful.
whack them off.
So are you supposed to expose the clitoral region? Like the teeth
Sometimes
I
pull
it's
back
think
too
you
sensitive,
know you
Giulio.
are, Giulio.
Sometimes
That's
it's
why
too
you
sensitive.
ask.
Sometimes it's too sensitive. You
That's
can't get
what
right
we-
on it.
See what he's saying?
You
That's
gotta dance around it.
So true. That's why the wind thing works for a lot of people because
Yeah.
I've never liked direct
Blowing on it?
wah, 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 that always has been ooh, stop that.
Tippity top top to tip tip top.
And you don't stop, but you do when she asks you to.
You know, let me say this.
What is that song?
Sometimes
It's new.
when you watch
By Remy and the Fran.
sometimes when you watch clitori cunnilingus,
Yeah.
the guy or woman will pull the abdomen skin up.
Yes.
And that it
It
it's as if it
exposes the clit.
pulls it out.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, hello, dear friend.
Do you want to?
And
Yeah.
then you spend time on it.
Teddy, our friend that we were talking about, didn't know until he watched the episode of Explained that I was on, because I was on an episode on Netflix of Explained called The Female Orgasm, and it's very scientific. Teddy goes, I didn't know that there was a clitoral hood. I thought it was just the thing. And I was like, yeah, that's why you pull it up. But like a lot of people don't know that. A lot of girls don't even know that.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
So then you're supposed to be delicate with it once it's exposed?
Giulio,
It depends.
let me explain how this works. Okay? Because Remy...
I have some idea,
Remy
but
only just started to come.
I want to know more
2
and
years
more.
ago.
I know. I'm kidding.
Okay.
We're continuing this mansplaining bullshit.
Oh, okay, great.
So here's what you want to do. You want to get the lady, put her feet in the stirrups, and then, you take a finger or two and insert it and make a come hither motion, almost as if you were to scratch your chin, but your chin is buried, of course, in the clitoris. And then
Wait.
that's right.
Are you saying come hither while in the vag?
Yep.
Okay.
And then
So
you're
that's
also simultaneously
doing
putting your tongue on
oral.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, those
Okay.
two things in concert.
Yes.
Also pulling the skin of the abdomen north
Yes.
to pull the hood off.
Can I
No
tell you why
food.
the come hither's a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I learned this, and they only discovered it in 1998, which is insane. But when you think about the clitoris, you only think about that little bump, right? That's on the outside, or in the case of your women, huge
Christmas ornament.
Oh, you can
hulking
hit it this
clitoris,
way.
right?
Mhm.
The thing on the outside. But the clit actually goes 4 inches back into the body, and then it's got these bulbs and these legs that straddle the vaginal opening. And most women's are like kind of above it. But the women that can come from just penetration alone, which is like only 8 to 25% of women, not very large, just internal. The reason they can do that, it's not because they're having a vaginal orgasm. It's because the clitoris legs in their bodies are outside the vaginal opening. So the dick is rubbing up against the clit from the inside, right?
So there's no such thing as a vaginal orgasm.
No, they're all clitoral orgasms.
This is news.
This is
Yeah.
great.
yeah.
yeah.
That's a scientific
If you're having
breakthrough.
trouble picturing what Remy's talking about, imagine a little neck clam. You ever seen a little neck clam?
Mm-mm.
You know, they bring you the little bowl of hot water and you take the clam out and then you pull the thing off and then you got to dip it in the water and then you eat it. Yum, yum, yum.
No, we're not all from Maine.
Seafood. Steamers. Have you
I'm
had
familiar
steamers?
with the terms,
Yeah.
but I couldn't.
Steamers.
Steamers.
Right?
Mussels?
The little no, not mussels. Steamer clams, right? There's the little like brown kind of leg.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
That thing is what you're saying goes back in for some women.
Kind of looks like an artery, like from the
Sure.
heart, like a ventricle.
Let me show
Sure.
you, because it's more like a cowboy with no head and no arms straddling a horse,
Makes sense.
Oh, like a
like
wishbone.
that.
So I have a joke
See that?
about this. Too,
Yeah, like
'cause,
more like a wishbone.
I received a tutorial once about this. And I remember once the tutorial was done, I was now doing a motion, and I talk about this in this bit, but where I looked like I was calling a small animal.
Oh yeah, I remember
So I'm
this.
literally doing this,
Yeah,
this move.
yeah.
Coaxing
Yeah.
a frantic horse.
Feline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, this is all helpful stuff. I'd like to continue to be a student of the game to
It's a
please
good
my
bit.
partners.
That bit, I used to look at Ben during. I'd be like, "Why don't you fucking
It's mine because it's mine.
Come
God
on.
damn it. Oh, you mean like why wouldn't he do it
yeah,
to you?
stick it out
That's
until the
funny.
dog licks your ass? Come on."
That's great.
I keep
Thank you.
challenging Jet Li to a fight, you know?
That's good too.
Yeah. There's so much about sex that's so incredible. What a culture there is around it. You've done an amazing job building this podcast. It's obviously so relatable for so many people. How many people that listen to your podcast tell you that as a result of things they've learned from your podcast have come for the first time?
Upwards of 400 women around the world have
Oh
had their
my
first orgasms because of the podcast, but also people have had like their first time coming with a partner, the first time squirting, the first time coming alone. Maybe they'd only done it like with another person. Anal orgasms, like all these different things like that. People are like, yeah, I did one just when thinking. And I was like, what? But
Wow.
you can.
All right, well, let me ask you this about squirting.
Oh, dude, you took the words right out of my mouth, pal.
I'm so
You
fascinated
took the words
by
right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
hurting for squirting, as
Yeah.
they say. If you are a woman and you know that you have torrential orgasms,
Sure.
Is that the term?
Sure, well,
Torrential.
That's a good one.
we're gonna if a deluge is, storms are coming. Then if you know you're one of those people,
Yeah.
should you warn your partner beforehand of what is about to happen?
Huh. I have never thought about this.
Let me tell you,
My
this.
answer's no, dude.
Dude,
Bring it on, baby.
out of
Yeah, I would like. My thing was that. Yeah. Is that a sprinkler?
yeah. Well, further to that question,
yeah.
this is what I would say, right?
Yeah.
If I had a woman over here and she was, a volume person,
Yeah.
And we had sex on my bed,
Yeah.
I would probably want to put a towel down first,
Yes.
especially after learning about Giulio's.
Truly though, a towel's
tips
not
for
going to do
avoiding
anything. Towels are like the
viruses.
least good thing for squirt. Like they fine.
Okay, let's say a tarp. I mean, I don't have a tarp, but if I had one,
No, but did you know that there's these sheets that are like specifically made
For bedwetting.
Yeah, bedwetting, but also like there's like sexier ones now for squirters.
Oh.
Yeah, that they're like black and stuff.
wow.
Yeah. And there's
Ew.
also
No, not ew. I'm sorry. I should have
things.
said ew.
See, I have heard most guys are turned on by squirting, but then there is the occasion where like you're like a very clean guy. Like I think like that's like, it's not that you think this act of squirting is gross. You just don't want the cleanup.
I love my cleaning lady.
Yeah.
I tip her a lot at Christmas. And if I had her come over on a morning after we had soiled the bed,
Yeah.
I would hate to be like, "Hi, Marta. So happy to see
Yeah.
you. Just FYI, this woman, opened the floodgates last night. The
woman.
bed is saturated. You might want to let it air out a little bit."
There's Thinks makes a blanket. It's called a sex blanket now.
Huh.
And it's for under. Yeah. I have ones. They're called the Companion. It's like a little spot. Like I don't like I love my mattress. I love my sheets. I don't like ruining stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know as far as like warning a person, like, because I'm not having a ton of random sex. But yeah, if you can tell that the guy's house is clean, maybe be like, we should do this in the bathroom the first time or something. Just out of
Yeah.
respect for property. And so that you don't have to feel like insecure during the act.
Couches, certain things are harder to clean and replace.
Yeah.
This is
and
true, but it's such a nice experience. Like if that is everything that I would think would happen, like if it happens, I'm so psyched that I'm just willing to go camping in the wetlands after, dude.
Right. Yeah. And I would say
Bog
a lot of people
stomping.
feel that
Bog
way.
stomping.
You're going to go bog stomping.
That's good.
Put on the old galoshes
Spelunking.
and slosh around.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go find some beavers. Let's go look at the eagles.
Yeah. Yeah. I
The
used to think
wetlands.
most people thought it was gross.
I think
No,
it's fucking
but-
cool.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
gross, and I think it's natural. And but
I believe you.
yeah. Obviously, if you're a woman and you're a squirter, there's no shame in that. Of course.
Yeah, literally,
everyone
I
be
went
one?
from 0 to I squirted the first time I came. Like
Oh, wow.
a lot.
Wow.
Yeah,
So can everybody squirt?
I don't know. I'm unclear. Honestly, there's not like a ton of scientific research about like
Squirting.
female sexual.
Right.
Yeah, but
Well, you're
but
breaking
now
down the wall.
a little more. I'm not doing science. All I do is
kind of are.
experiments on myself.
That's science, pal.
Yeah, I'm like, Ben, get in the lab.
He's like, I'm
All
too old
right.
for this shit.
Yeah. I have him reading a book right now, which he should have read by now, but everybody should read it. It's called She Comes First, and it's like tips and tricks on eating puss, and it's great.
Eating
Wow.
puss.
Yeah,
Well, this is fascinating. Julio's taking that book down.
it's amazing. Do you know Lisa Traeger?
I do.
Yeah, she's got a whole joke about how when she started hooking up with girls, she read that book, and she was like, yeah, I don't know why guys think it's hard, because I read a book, and now I'm amazing at it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm always open to being coached. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If some dude
definitely.
is just that macho and that hard-headed that he says, I'm not going to heed any advice, I'm going forward with whatever I've learned myself. And
then he's wrong.
if it doesn't work, it's because she's broken. That's bullshit, obviously.
Also, people like different stuff.
Yes.
Like, so sometimes they'll come in with like a move that you're like, okay, she was interesting, but like I'm different.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's interesting. Well, I don't know why this reminded me of this, but Grant Gordon, the comedian, he now lives in LA, said one of the most memorable things I've ever heard. He said something about how he really liked this girl, and he goes, "I'm gonna fuck her like a poor man." And I was like,
What?
I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Because a poor man, that's all he has to offer." And I was like, "That's fucking profound, dude." He's like, so he just goes for it. I'm like, that's incredible.
Yeah, you know,
it's a good line.
Ever since my financial future became sound, I've really given up in the bedroom. I just don't see the point.
You're like, I have a duplex in Chelsea. I don't go out of town on women ever.
You know, she wants to be here. Great. It's not going to be great sex, though.
Yeah. Lev Fur and I were saying former fat kids. They're the best in bed because they're like way grateful and they love to eat.
That's funny.
Interesting.
That's interesting. I got a question for you, Remy.
Yeah.
So I feel that this is a thing that is more complicated for you than the average person potentially.
Wrong.
Because, well, just not the coming. Not the coming.
Oh, okay.
I mean, your path. Meaning that you come from the city and you said your dad was trying to get into Maidstone. You know what I mean? Your parents appear to kind of maintain some sort of social stature to some degree. And, the city is a very judgmental place, I've learned, where like parents act like, I'm not saying your parents, but parents act like middle school kids their entire lives.
Yes.
So because of that, it seems like A, becoming a comedian, and B, having a podcast about coming, even though it's much more complicated than that and there's a ton of substance, it seems like that is a much more daunting path to take for someone like you than the average person.
I would agree. But I also think for that reason, it was really good for me to be like the poster child of like, this is normal, because I am from such like a quote unquote good family, like good upbringing, like went to private school.
Totally.
Like
which school did you go to?
I went to Riverdale Country School.
Ooh, up
in the Bronx.
schools,
That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Horseman and
Fieldston.
SAR is up there too, right?
What's that?
It's like one of those Jewish schools, like Ramaz kind of thing.
Maybe.
I think so.
DiGiorno?
But yeah, like, cream of the crop situation.
Yeah, no. So like a lot of people felt like it was like a me that they were looking at, instead of just like a lot of comics come from like, I don't know, or people think a lot of comics come from broken homes and like they're crazy.
We come from everywhere.
We come from everywhere.
It's like the army.
But so it's not like hearing a person say that and it's like, oh, well, that's like a derelict,
Right.
like it was like, yeah.
Right.
My parents, not so much into now they are more into stand-up, but they've always been really supportive of the podcast because they're both medical professionals.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and
I thought they weren't supportive of it. They are?
Oh, no, supportive of the podcast to a fault.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. My dad's like, oh my God, can I get you any of my friends like to be a guest or
That's
whatever?
great.
And yeah.
Can I just say something about that? What is it about? No, and correct me if this is completely wrong, but I feel like Jewish parents have a much healthier relationship talking about sex with their kids than other religious. All my Jewish friends and their parents have this weird open dialogue about sex.
I think, I don't know, like
not weird.
It was better.
Good.
Yeah. Than I think like I've heard people with like really like Christian upbringings have had like a tough time where people were like, don't do, like nobody actively ever told me don't do that. My mom always said sex was supposed to be fun, but after listening to the like first few episodes of How Come, she cried because she was like, I thought I taught you. Like I thought I told you about orgasms. I'm like really sorry.
Like my parents are not that religious and they're very nice and cool, but I like don't feel comfortable having these kind of conversations. I don't know if that's something that's specific to me. I don't know if I'm generalizing.
It's like a Catholic Italian family, like
we're like not really Catholic.
No, but it's the trickle down
exactly
of the culture, and it's like that's not like because nobody wants to be the one that's gonna like embarrass the former generations. Like even when I would talk, like I live with my grandmother's just passed away, but I started the podcast at her house. I lived with her. When I started talking to her about it, like
there you go. You're talking to your grandma about it?
Yeah. And I would be like, I'm starting, because I wanted to, she had to know. I was like, I'm starting this thing. I've never had an orgasm. I asked Charlotte if she has, and she's like, says yes, but not with another person. And my grandmother goes, what do you mean, like alone? And I was like, yeah. She goes, like masturbating? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, well, I've never done that. And I was like, oh, but have you had an orgasm? She says, oh, yes, Papa was very giving.
That's great. Bless his heart.
I think it's easier for daughters to speak with their mothers about this than it is for boys to speak with their fathers.
I used to speak
sex.
to my mother
Maybe.
about stuff.
Yeah,
And
my
then she'd
mom
be like, "Are you
gave
sure you don't want to talk to your dad about this?"
my mom gave my brothers a way better sex talk than she gave me and my sister. Like she would give them like Idiot's Guide to like, and she would be like, touch her face, like all like the
Right.
romantic
Interesting.
ins and outs that they weren't learning from porn.
I read What's Happening to My Body for Girls,
I remember you told me that.
which
Yeah.
was a book that was given to my sister in the throes of puberty.
Yeah.
And I picked it up as spank bank
Yep.
material.
Really?
Yep, I
And it
remember.
was-
Yeah.
Diagrams of uteruses and tiny nipples getting larger and
Yeah.
longer that,
That's
for years.
amazing.
You're cranking it to that?
Yeah, we had one computer in the house, and it was nobody was ever gone long enough for me to download LimeWire,
Right.
download
Yeah.
7 videos, skip through the 6 that were the bald guy putting his head inside that vagina.
Oh my God, that video.
Get to the one good one of Jenna Jameson on a boat,
Dude.
and then
This is
get
really
off, clean up,
resonating.
delete the files, delete LimeWire, and then get back. It's so much easier to just jump right into 3 months
Your
in,
pubes and you.
Yeah, it's fine to have a little stubble, a little peach fuzz.
It's like a girl in the shower, like shaving.
Yeah,
Francis is
totally.
Like, oh.
That's great.
vulvas and
Did you talk
Yes,
to your parents about this
vulvas.
stuff?
I talked to my dad once. I brought it up. I had questions about condoms because when I lost my virginity, the girl I lost my virginity to, the condom broke, and I instantly thought just instant pregnancy. I was like, boom. I didn't come. I didn't do anything. There was nothing in the condom. But immediately I was like, we're having a kid. My life is over.
Yeah.
The life I thought I knew, toast. and my dad was like, I hate to say this, but you're going to be fine. Like, he dispelled the myth to me, the fear, which led to me becoming more reckless sexually
Right.
at an earlier age.
Yeah. It's like,
hell yeah,
ooh,
dude.
Dad, you
Yeah.
didn't finish the talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell my kids, and I think about this a lot
Mm-hmm.
in the conversation, like, look, dude, stick with condoms as long as you can.
Yeah.
Because once you
Also,
take it off, you're never going to want to go back.
totally. Oh my God. I've never even known, like, I can't even imagine.
Wise words.
You know
bro.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Wise
if
words.
I had never known
Yeah.
how good
Raw dogging
condom-free
was.
sex is, I
Yeah.
would still enjoy having sex with a condom.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, I don't need that. You know what I mean? Like, I'd still be questing for it and all that shit.
I would say teach kids. I mean, you were probably masturbating constantly. That's great. But for me, like, I feel like I had sex way earlier because I thought this is the only way I can be like sexually gratified. Like, that's what I saw in movies was that like people having sex are both like they're just screaming instantly. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. Like, if you had told me like, hey, no, you can masturbate and like never get an STD and never get pregnant, I would have been like, I will be at home.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you went looking for it.
Yeah. I was always trying to
Interesting.
mold myself to be like a girl that guys would like so that like maybe they'd fuck me.
At
Instead, I'm like-
sorry.
Yeah.
What age did you lose your virginity?
16.
Yeah, that was when I lost mine too.
Yeah, but that was considered late.
I was
Where did
18.
you-
18.
18. Oh,
Yeah.
pathetic.
You like the Nancy,
Pathetic.
the Nancy Drew of orgasms.
Yeah.
This lifelong quest.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to tell my kids, I'm going to be like, listen, the rule with condoms, if you know anybody who knows her, you don't have to wear one.
Yeah.
If you
There
know
you go.
anybody who
Yeah.
knows her, why?
I'm good. I'm joking.
3 degrees
That's
of
not-
unprotected sex. I have one other really
Great.
interesting question. This is something that I thought about, and I'm so glad you're here for this.
Yeah. To witness how interested
Yeah.
you are. Okay.
Would you rather
Yeah.
find out that your boyfriend tried to cheat on you and was rejected,
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
or cheated on you?
What?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
I kinda do.
so in one situation, he's a loser.
Correct.
And-
Correct. But
Okay.
he didn't.
with the intention to
he
cheat.
didn't. What's the word?
He couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, when
He
you
couldn't close.
Consummate.
he couldn't
Wasn't a closer.
consummate the cheat.
Yeah.
But he For all, the only thing that stopped it
I
from
would
happening
rather.
was
I mean,
the
either
other
way,
person.
I'm going to break up with him, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I guess I'd rather he be a loser because then we break up and then he keeps trying and I
Right.
go on and flourish.
Interesting. And that just proves the nature of the complication of that question. Because at surface value, you'd think the answer would be the first option, but in reality, maybe
That
not.
is the first option.
No. For you,
He
and you
tries
answered.
to
You
cheat.
answered after thinking it through.
Yeah.
But most people initially would say, "I'd obviously rather him." Oh,
I would rather.
I'd
that my
rather that
girlfriend
him
cheat on
fully
me
cheat
and
on
pull it
me.
off.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yours comes back around.
Yeah.
Like, never mind.
Mine comes to thoughts for the future. But also, then you think about thoughts for the past is like, ugh, I've been dating a loser this whole time.
Yes.
I don't love
yes.
that.
And not only that, but the person who rejected your boyfriend
Is
always gonna
hotter
be
than
like,
me.
Yo,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm better. Thinks that they're better.
But the
than you.
person who got my boyfriend also thinks she's hotter than me.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
maybe,
Right? If
maybe.
he cheats on me fully with somebody, she's like, yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's a
She starts
superiority.
Carltoning. Yeah.
I think there's a superiority
Remy sucks.
that comes with like, okay, I turned down the guy that you're in a serious relationship.
Yeah, that's
Imagine hearing that
embarrassing
from
for
them.
you.
Just so you know, your boyfriend's a loser. He tried to fuck.
Yeah,
me.
no, that's horrible.
yeah.
No, but what I meant is that it is the first is probably worse, where at surface value it seems like the second is worse.
The second is probably like the second could be a situation where like he's too fucked up, or I mean
Right,
whatever,
right.
or like he's really fucked up
Or he tried not to.
and he tried not, or yeah, whatever. The first one is I've actually experienced before. I found G chats
Right.
of an ex reaching out trying to hook up with somebody and failing, and I was still like, I'm gonna break up with him in like 4 to 6 months, but like you're a loser.
For me, I'd rather that my girlfriend consummate the cheat.
I'd pick none of the above. I have to pick one though. I know. For the
Yeah.
yeah. You would prefer that she consummates the cheat.
Yeah. I think keeping my ego intact is
Valuable.
better
Is
served
paramount.
by
Right.
is better served by someone my girlfriend being like, yeah, I went out and banged someone else.
Right.
And then especially if I look at him and he's like some super hunky guy and I'm
You
like,
look at
I
a
don't
lot of
even blame
shirtless
you,
pics
you know?
of him.
Like good on you, you know?
Yeah, I've experienced this in many ways too. Like,
Yeah.
Do you want the guy to be cooler than you or not?
Ugh.
Like,
That's tough.
and the answer is I want him to not be.
You want him to be like a weasel?
I want her to be on the decline. But maybe not a
little,
weasel.
Like sniveling weasel?
But I want to be able to say I'm cooler than that guy.
Yeah.
She has peaked.
Yeah.
She is now on her way down. Her career, her minutes are being limited. Her stats are less impressive, and she is now at this state, the
She's
twilight years of her
Enron.
career.
Her
Yeah.
stocks have plummeted.
Instead of she has used me as a platform to achieve greatness.
Yes.
With some superior man.
Yes.
Wow. All right. So then what if your girlfriend, and this is a silly question, but what if your girlfriend cheated on you with an A-list celebrity who is at the top of their game?
It hurts even more.
Because a lot of guys are like, I wouldn't even be mad if I found out my girlfriend cheated on me with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Those guys are losers.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Yeah,
losers.
because they want to touch greatness via vag. Like, what?
Yeah.
Right, that's part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, like, you're making an admission that Leo is so far superior to you, and will
That
always
would be
so
an
far superior
honor.
to you. Yeah, it would be an honor. You don't have high goals.
Well, okay,
You're
but
not
then there
striving.
is the idea of compersion. Have you heard of compersion?
No.
Okay, so in polyamory, compersion is like when you have happiness from others people's happiness. Like their pleasure makes you happiness, makes you happiness.
Cuckery.
Yeah, cuckery. But like in like the nicest like way. Like I'm a very jealous person. I don't think I could ever achieve compersion, but I do think it's a really nice idea that it's like, wow, you always wanted to hook up with Leon. Like if I got to hook up with Robert Pattinson, that's my hall pass. Okay. Ben better be fucking happy about it because I'm going to be ecstatic.
Now, do you mean that or are you kind of just kidding?
Both.
That's a great question.
But also, I really want to fuck Robert
great
Pattinson.
question.
And let me, like, if you are listening, sir, please.
Right. And I'm with you. And
Please,
that's
sir.
I love Robert Pattinson.
Like, come
He's
on.
the new Batman, right? Total hunky dory.
Hottest
Also,
vampire
unbelievable.
ever.
I was a big Cedric Diggory fan. Is that it?
Me too.
Yeah. He's Cedric Diggory, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so good.
My
We
boy.
run into problems with this.
My
though.
son, my boy, my boy is dead.
My boy. Oh, it's the most heartbreaking thing in any Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
This is problematic though because you're not that far removed from him.
You don't think so?
You're not. I know you're not. We
you
know
could
people
make
who
it
dated
happen.
him.
What?
Cleo, remember Cleo? Like our friend dated him.
That's wild.
So like you meeting him is not a crazy possibility, which is why I do not believe in the list thing.
In the list?
I do not
Okay.
believe in it. And when my
Correct.
girlfriend thinks celebrities are hot, I get fucking pissed and jealous. Timothy Chalamet, I'm upset with because of it.
But
I'm upset with Timothy Chalamet because my girlfriend thinks
he's
he's
a
hot
gay
and it makes me
icon.
jealous. He's awesome. I'm like,
Yeah, he's great. Okay, well, Remy, I mean, my God, this has been an absolutely fantastic,
So fun.
enlightening, interesting episode. We talk about mistakes a lot. We haven't really addressed some of yours, but
yeah.
I'm sure that you, in some of the stories you've shared, we've
Yeah.
gleaned a bit of a sense of some of maybe
the
some regrets or
oopses
things.
that I've done.
Do you have anything that you can recall or would like to share with us about a time where you wish you could have that back?
Yes. Any of the times that I was like having sex with people and they were just like doing a bunch of stuff to me and I was like waiting for the good part to come, I would take that back. Cause like I used to think that guys like went to some like special sex school and they just like knew all the moves and like you just have to like lay back and like wait, you know, and be like, oh yeah, maybe this one, maybe this. No, I would go back to the drawing board. I would learn how to make it happen myself, which is like the whole thing. And then go on to coach those people to do that instead. And like also, there's a bunch of times that I would just like have sex when I didn't even want to, because I would just be like,
whatever.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. And then during, I'd be like, this is not fun. And yeah, I would be like, you could stop the sex in the middle and just be like, I don't want to do it anymore. It kind of sounds like these are rapes. They're not. It's situations where like, yeah, people just like want to fuck and you're like, no, but fine. Yeah, maybe self-rapes. Don't have sex when you don't want to.
Right.
It's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
And masturbate more. That's my oops of
fantastic.
my life.
Wow. That was pretty, that got me thinking. Because I'll be honest with you, there have been a lot of times where I've been having sex halfway through
100%.
where I was like, what am I doing?
I didn't really think about it until I had Christian Finnegan and John Fugelsang on the podcast, and they're both like men like that are like maybe late 40s, and they were like, yeah, like a lot of sex I had, I just did because I was like a guy, and like if you went to a girl's house, like you were supposed to have sex, and so like you would, and I'd like force myself to do that, and it's like, nah, don't force yourself to have sex.
Right.
Just don't have sex. Or wait till the next time, or yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, that's great advice. And for more incredible advice on sex and dating and love and all of those wonderful things, tune into Remy's podcast, How Come?
Yes, spelled
on
like come.
everything,
C-U-M.
iTunes, Spotify,
Yep.
all that. Where can we find you on social media?
Remy Kassimir, RemyKass, like Sam, IMIR on Instagram. I'm really into Twitter now. Tweet me. I've got a TikTok, RemyKassimir.com for stand-up dates. If you want to come see me and you're in New York City, I have a weekly show at the Stand called Bacon Bits every Sunday, 3 p.m. You get free bacon. There's bottomless mimosa specials. You get drunk as fuck. Now that football's over, it's the place to be.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
G, anything?
Yeah, I got some shows coming up in February scattered. I'll probably post them on Instagram on my story.
And that's at Not Julio with a
Not
J.
Julio.
I am at Francis C.C. Ellis. Come see me in Philadelphia at Helium March 5th to the 7th. Hope to see you there. This is Oops the Podcast. See you next week.
Can I edit one in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And if you want to follow How Come, it is How Come Podcast. We put up a lot of fun polls.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Remy.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.